Well, my name is Yakulas and Larry Jorgensen. I'm a resident of Bella Bella, which is a Haitsit community. I've lived here for over 40 years, married into the nation, and feel very much part of the nation. I just think there's amazing people all up and down this coast, from Alaska to California, who view and sort of relate their lives somehow to all the wonderful things that salmon do, and somehow nurture your soul. To me, a Salmon Nation is really that collective body that either views or does connect directly with salmon in a positive way. Whatever draws your heart and your soul to want to be here and be part of that,
Yeah.
whether you live urban or rural or anywhere, it doesn't matter. It's a connection, it's a feeling.
I was born and raised in the Kispiox Valley. This is our home. It's the home to many people, and the reason that, my family gets to thrive here is actually thanks, in most part, to the Gitxsan and Indigenous people. When my great-grandparents came here in 1904, it was the Gitxsan who taught them how to survive. And when my great-grandpa got the first tractor, he tilled everybody's gardens. And that spirit of reciprocity is really what has helped us to thrive.
I'm Roger Schmidt. I'm the director of the Sitka Fine Arts Camp in Sitka, Alaska. And it's my 19th year doing this. We were given a set of keys and 20 buildings and 20 acres and probably about people say a $50 million deferred maintenance budget. First 4 years we had over 1,000 volunteers put in, over 40,000 volunteer hours. The place was just a disaster and everybody pitched in. Friends from all over the country came and helped out. It was great. Our budget was zero. So when you say, what's your budget? Zero, then everybody starts chipping in and they start helping. And you realize that it's not really money that's the obstacle for community success, but it's community. And so I love feeling like my job is to keep possibility alive and as broad as possible, as long as we can with people, so that kids will stay believing that things are possible.
My name's Renee Grandy. I'm a family physician that specializes in environmental medicine. I'm at the Holistic Health and Healing Clinic. I've been in Enterprise about 17 years practicing medicine. I had found that I didn't have the tools to get people well many of the times, so I started looking into things that were causing people to be chronically ill, and came across the practice of environmental medicine, which is looking at our environment and how our environment can affect people's health. I think the people in rural communities are a lot closer to their environment. They live in it and they're very affected by it, and they can see things clearly. And they are also more resistant to kind of standard accepted practices. They're a little more independent, and so they want answers that don't include drugs. Sometimes I feel like I'm fighting a battle that nobody else is fighting, and I also see links between food production and health.
So my name is Arzina Hamir, and we're here at Amara Farm, which is located in the Comox Valley on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. My husband and I moved here about 7 years ago to start this farm. We wanted to have an organic farm that would feed both our family but also the community. We are really passionate about farming organically as a way of responding to some of the changes that are happening in the environment, especially around climate change, and to model a way of growing food that is light on the planet, but also can produce an economic return for the owners. I think this type of model can be adapted and changed, but used across both up and down the Salmon Nation area, where small acreages can produce a very high quantity of food, especially the high value crops like vegetables. And it doesn't require a very large land base, so it is very replicable.
My name's Will Honey, and I'm one of the owners. I'm the founder of the Woolly Market in Cedar Woolley. It's a natural food market, deli, We have local craft beer, local meat, local cheese, local dairy. Try to focus on local, but also just a good selection of organic and basic stuff here for the community. We do know how communities can be resilient and sustainable without fossil energy because that's what it looked like before fossil energy. The sort of agrarian society where you were providing a lot more for yourself and working with your hands a lot more.
So I'm Stephen Jones. I'm with the Bread Lab. We're north of Seattle, about an hour and a half in Skagit Valley. So in the Bread Lab, what we do is we work on grains that are out of the commodity system. So we work on small, diverse farms. We work with people that want to bring their grain economy back to life. About 100 years ago, we lost 25,000 flour mills in this country. Today we have 183. There are more people making buggy whips than there are flour right now in the U.S. So we work with people that want to bring those mills back into communities and again just sort of keep value where it's actually produced. If you mill something where it's produced, that's radical.
My name's Eden Robinson. I'm Haisla and Healthsick. I live on my dad's reserve of Kitimat Village. This particular reserve is called Samotsa. I've written 5 novels, 1 collection of short stories, and an essay. I'm most famous for Monkey Beach, a novel that I published 20 years ago. Sit here in Kitimat Village. I'm currently writing a trilogy on the son of a trickster. I think Salmon Nation is awesome. I think we need a lot of different people in Salmon Nation. I think we need, not just the indigenous nations who depend on salmon, but scientists and fishermen and, sports fishermen.
My name is Zach, and I'm a member of Salmon Nation. I grew up in a small town in southeast Alaska called Gustavus, surrounded by Glacier Bay National Park. It's a pretty profound wilderness. And I eventually went off to do climate science. I was doing my PhD studies in the polar regions, learning about how climate change affects the globe and the marine ecosystems of the Arctic and Antarctic, but I eventually felt that I wasn't making the biggest impact that I could through the academic world. Science hasn't yet helped us to reorient our spirit towards a more harmonious relationship with the natural world. Some would say stories are what we need to do that. Some would say that people who are making the difference, ravens, are the ones that can help us do that. Or places, maybe like this one.
Well, my name is Don Svanvik. I live in Alert Bay. I was born here. I'll be buried here. Presently, I'm the elected chief counselor of the Numgis First Nation. I'm also a carver. One of the primary, high-level objectives is to get our stuff back. We want to get our land back, our resources. We want to get the ability to look after ourselves back. We want to look after the forest better. We want to look after the sea better. We want to look after our people better.
Who are you?
Classes tuta quisnapsil is taxis clauquet. Mahte ewas o cla. My English given name is Joe Martin or Joseph Martin. I live at Hesawasta on the north end of Long Beach. It's on the west coast of Vancouver Island. I am a canoe maker, and I've been taught that craft ever since I was very young by my father and my grandfather. All I want is that the future of the younger generations are protected in a way that our teachings of natural laws are upheld. Salmon Nation is, taking care of the land and the forests, the river, and taking only what we need from the ocean, from nature. That when I finally die from here, that this land is left in, this garden is left in a better condition than when I came.
My name is Jess Housty. I'm a citizen of the Helsik Nation, and I live on my territory in Bella Bella. I am the interim director of a small Helsik nonprofit called Cucks Project Society. We do a lot of land-based programming for Helsik youth and families. The heart of what we do is trying to reconnect people to a sense of place and a sense of cultural identity to guide them in their lives. I think it's really important now that we circle back to the way things were done pre-contact. It's about, for me, revitalizing the way my ancestors took care of one another in the place that they lived and the relationships that they maintained with other communities and other people. It's not about inventing something new. It's about realizing that we need to make a course correction. We've been going the wrong way for a long time.
I like to think that there is a lot of heart in protecting the Salmon Nation. If we don't do that, what is those grandchildren, great-grandchildren, what are they going to live on if there is no more salmon, if the pollution kills them all? So thinking not only for today, we need to think of 7 generations down the line in order for us to sustain what we have today.
My name is Wahid Khansu. I've made a supernatural canoe. I'm going to launch it daybreak, Natnakwa. Before the sun hits the mountaintop, that canoe will be waiting for you down here.
Cecil's idea of the magic canoe worked for preserving the Kitlope. And I think that idea of a community bound by bettering the present is amazing.
And it seems like Salmon Nation is trying to build a type of community that is community within community within community, so that the ripple effect can be felt. And that's ultimately why I'm going to jump in with both feet, is because I want to see that ripple effect. I want there to be a future for my kids.
I think we're all connected in a fabric that can really help to transmit ideas.
It's a passion.
It's about place.
I think it's about respect and reciprocity.
What Salmon Nation means to me is it is a bioregion, and it's taking care of ourselves and who inhabits that region.
Mother Nature will provide for our needs, but not our greed.
The salmon don't recognize boundaries. So I don't think Salmon Nation should either.
The salmon can be a messenger that when we start to do things better, they'll be coming back more, and we'll know we're headed in the right direction.
When you get good people together, magic happens.
And there's many people, salmon people, who are of like mind, who have the heart to be on this magic canoe. And I'm sure that a lot of people will be more than willing to get onto the canoe and paddle in the same direction.
Come into this canoe to explore a magic, supreme, unknown journey that we're going to take together. And the journey will be beautiful because we begin to understand one another. So I invite you all to come into this magic canoe.